I always like to start with how I became an entrepreneur myself, a social entrepreneur. One, I never planned it. It came out of necessity. So I was semi-paralyzed at some point when I was in college. And in order to pay my bills, I needed to sell everything I owned. And then I went back to Jordan, so I'm Palestinian Jordanian. I went back to Jordan and I just noticed, I observed that there was a market for me to start entering the sustainable fashion world at that time. So it was without really planning my life to be an entrepreneur, because I was really raised in a sense where once I graduate from college, I'm going to get married and I'm going to have children and I'm going to go follow that path. It was never really expected for me to build a company when I was 20 years old. And now I'm at the end of my 20s, so it's been an interesting journey. But I always start with, I wish I was taught earlier that I can actually be an entrepreneur and prepare myself through education, from similar to what you were saying, from a young age. Empathy, I think, is one of the superpowers of being human. It's what makes us human, and in essence, you can't understand a problem or solve a problem without empathy, for several reasons. One, we're no longer, oh, Mexico's alone, Jordan's alone, the US is alone. It's with globalization, whatever is happening here, somehow the ripple effect affects the other country. So with empathy, we make these man-made walls and barriers become thinner and hopefully eventually disappear. And with empathy, you also get just clarity on what are you trying to solve. And sometimes the entrepreneur's dilemma is they're so in love with their solution that they don't hear what the actual people who are impacted by the problem deeply need. What is their pain point? How are you going to deliver it? So I think being an entrepreneur, you really need to work on that empathy. Empathy also for yourself and for others and for the solution and the problem you're working on. And then on a micro level is, as an entrepreneur, if you yourself aren't sustained and aren't healthy and don't take care of your mental well-being and mental health, you're not going to be here tomorrow to actually bring your full self to anything that you're doing. So I think that's not talked about enough. And then also the culture of celebrating failure. You are going to fail. And for me, was so scared of my first failure, my second failure. I'm still scared of my next failures. But it's something that I have to be comfortable with if I actually want to create change and innovate. So I love what you were talking about love and empathy and smiling, and that you always have something to offer. And I just challenge the youth to keep on pushing their thinking and to make sure we're all living in bubbles. It's just to constantly expand our bubble. And good luck to everyone really trying to change the world in one way or another.